Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Don from 1A Auto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And the next time you need a part for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace left-hand axle on this 2003 Nissan Maxima. This is a manual transmission car, but the procedure for automatic transmission is basically the same, although at the end where we refill the manual transmission case, you'll want to refill your automatic transmission, so that procedure is different. You'll need a new axle from 1A Auto, jack and jack stands, 15, 21, 22, and 32 millimeter sockets. The 32 millimeter is starred there because that is one that doesn't come in many sets. You'll have to probably buy that special. 14 millimeter wrench, ratchet, and you'll need a breaker bar or a pipe for some extra leverage, a pry bar, catch pan, torque wrench, gear oil, GL4 rated for the 6-speed in this car, piece of tube or hose to help you fill it, and a 10 millimeter hex or Allen wrench. And again, the last few things are for refilling the manual transmission. If you have an automatic transmission, that is a different procedure. If you have an automatic transmission, the basic procedure of replacing the axle is the same, but obviously filling an automatic transmission is a little different. Start out by removing the front tire. If you don't have air impact tools, start with the tire on the ground, loosen the lug nuts, then raise and secure the vehicle with jack stands, remove the lug nuts the rest of the way, and remove the wheel and tire.
Taking the cotter pin out of this axle shaft.
Okay, it's basically just a procedure of straightening out the ends of the cotter pin and pulling it back through with a pair of pliers.
Right, my 32 millimeter socket, zap off the axle nut. Most likely you're going to need an impact gun for this.
Okay, so while Don's working on that, a little commentary here. We did try to get this nut off with a breaker bar and a piece of pipe. They are tightened at 217 foot-pounds, and this one did not come off using that method. Most likely you're going to have to use an impact wrench.
I'm making sure that the axle isn't seized inside the hub, so I'm just pushing through. And it's pushing through no problem. If you find any resistance, you can screw your nut back on just a little bit and give it a couple whacks with the hammer, and that should loosen it up. I'm going to remove the lower stabilizer link nut, 15 millimeter, and counter hold the opposite side with a 14 millimeter wrench.
On this side, you put the wrench right in between the boot here and the control arm. Okay, so you can see Don's got that bolt loosened up, and just fast forward here as he removes it.
I got the nut off, and I'm just going to push the stabilizer rod out of the lower control arm. I'm removing the 4 front lower control arm bolts. They're 22 millimeters, and then I'll proceed to the back and remove these 2 22 millimeters. Using a breaker bar and a pipe for extra leverage.
As you can see, it takes quite a bit of leverage. You'll need your ratchet and a pipe, or your breaker bar and a pipe. If you have to use hand tools, you can see here we just go just to make the video go a little quicker and make things go quicker. We just go over to the impact wrench and pull the rest of them out.
I got my control arm down, nut off, and I'm going to pull the joint, push it through. I got a drain pan down underneath where I'm going to pop the axle out of the transmission because some fluid could come out. Then I'm going to put a pry bar in between the transmission case and the axle and pry. And it pops right out. Reinstallation, I'm just pushing it back into place and turning it a little bit, twisting it so it finds its spot.
Get it seated all the way in, then put the other side into the wheel hub, and then you can push it in from the outside.
I'm installing the bolts for the lower control arm. Torquing the 6 other lower control arm bolts that go to the chassis to 120 foot-pounds.
And a little fast forward here as we put the stabilizer back in place. Put it back into the control arm and use the 14mm wrench to hold the shaft as you tighten it up and get it nice and tight. Install the center hub nut and just kind of tighten it preliminarily.
I got Mike in the car holding the brake pedal down while we torque to 217 foot-pounds. Putting the cotter pin back in. I'm going to check the fluid level in the manual transmission, and we're going to locate the filler, and it's right up here. It's a 10mm Allen, and I'm going to use a 3/8 inch drive ratchet and break it free. And I'm using a hose to fill the transmission back up with the transmission fluid. And once you see the drips coming out, you'll know that it's to the bottom of the filler plug level and it's full.
Okay, make sure you put your transmission fill plug back in, then you can put your wheel and tire back on. Hand thread the lug nuts first, tighten them preliminarily, and then torque them to 100 foot-pounds. And then make sure you get your vehicle aligned. We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.1aauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.